Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Today I want to be talking about should you take your Instagram and should you promote your YouTube channel through Instagram? And the answer is it completely depends on the situation. I have a whole, workflow that I've written out here that we're going to discuss. And the answer is, like I said, it depends on your situation. It's not clearly a yes or no. And let's kind of go through different circumstances. So I want to take a perfect example of Alex Eubank here. Alex Eubank is a YouTuber, social media influencer, whatever you want to call it. He's in the fitness industry. And he's very well known. He has lots and lots of content that gets a lot of attention. I mean, you could look at his views: 171K, 79K, 77K, 90K, 46K, 85K views, 40K views, 69K. This guy just racks views on top of views on top of views. This one has 1 million views. Pretty insane, right? So, he's really out here doing his thing. The question is should he take his Instagram, right, and should he use it as a weapon per se of free advertising for his YouTube? Well, let's click on his Instagram. Let's take a look. So this is his Instagram. He has 2.7 million followers, okay? And let's look at a photo like this, for example. 146,000 likes, okay? Here we have 78,000 likes. Here we have, for example, 61,000 likes. So he clearly has an audience that is extremely engaged, all right? Now let's go ahead and look at another example, okay? And I want to kind of talk about why this is so important. Let's look at this channel. You see this channel? This channel is pretty much brand new. This guy, his name is Bolton. He is the videographer for the Tates, Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, that whole brand. And here he posted his first video. Now, if we go to his Instagram, let's go ahead and go over here to his Instagram. I'm going to have to actually search for it because it's not well known. So let me go to his Instagram. Okay, let's go to Billy Bolton X. I don't want to say it's not well known. He has a decent following, but his YouTube is not well known. That's what I'm trying to say. We go to his Instagram, and he has a lot more followers on Instagram than he does on YouTube. Okay, now if you look at his YouTube video, he posted it 10 hours ago, his very first one, and he has 1,930 subscribers roughly. And we look at his Instagram, and he's got, 11,000 likes here, 8,000 likes, 8,500 likes, 6,600, and so on and so forth, right? So the question is should, this person, for example, take his YouTube and promote it in Instagram? The answer is absolutely for him, okay? For Alex Eubank, should he do it? The answer is also absolutely. But there are circumstances where people should not, and I'll kind of talk about why this is. Do you notice something similar between Alex Eubank and Bailey Bolton, for example? They're personal brands. That's the thing that's similar. They have a face to their brand versus a brand out there that's really not well known, no face to it, just a bunch of, let's just say, posts and things like that, then it would kind of hurt your success. Let me kind of talk about what I mean. Let me speak clearly here. If you have a small or large Instagram account, but it has a personal brand where you're showing your face like this, and people know who you are as a person, well then yeah, you should actually promote your YouTube on your Instagram. A lot of people who are in the YouTube automation space, they'll say it's not a good idea to promote your YouTube on Instagram because you're sending traffic from Instagram to YouTube, and sometimes that traffic is not accounted for. YouTube looks at it and doesn't know what to do with it. And the way that they recommend your video to more people is through your traffic. Well, guess what? That is true. But the reason why people who do faceless automation videos is because they don't have any kind of branding behind their face. So what happens is you have people from all parts of the world clicking on a Instagram link, right? Link in bio for a YouTube video that they're probably going to click off. Why? Because they don't resonate with the content that's in it. They're not looking for the star of the show. See, if you look at this video, this video that Bailey posted, I'll just go ahead and pause it here. Everybody in the comments is saying, you're amazing, we've wanted to watch videos for you for a long time, you're finally posting, all this kind of stuff. Like, look at this. Somebody's comments here, congrats on launching the channel. Hopefully we'll meet you one day at a Tate event. So people know who this guy is. People understand who he is. They like him. They like his content. They understand, more importantly, what his personality is, the face behind the brand, right? And so if he takes an Instagram post and puts a link in a bio to his very first YouTube video, yeah, it makes sense because all the people that would watch his Instagram are definitely going to go watch his video. But if you take somebody who is faceless, a completely faceless channel, and you create for them an Instagram account, like Cyrax, for example, right? We all know Cyrax. Cyrax is, he's got a big, he's like an automation guy. You take a guy like this, and you make Instagram posts, can you really post? Just pictures of your thumbnails? Like, what can you really post that isn't interesting? Instagram wouldn't be an ideal tool for him. Now, don't get me wrong, it would be another touch point for his viewers, but it wouldn't make sense where if he had, let's just say, 100,000 followers on Instagram to promote his YouTube. Why? Because he's only developed his personality through YouTube, and people know this faceless character through YouTube, not through his Instagram, right? And if we actually check his links, he doesn't have any Instagram that he's posting. I mean, we could just pause this video here, and you can see there's no Instagram here. There's no branding. There's no personal branding. And that's what Instagram is for. Instagram is for personal branding. It's putting a face to a face to the brand. Now, will I have an Instagram? The answer is absolutely. But the thing is I won't use my Instagram as a way to promote my YouTube videos. In fact, it might be the other way around. It might be my YouTube promotes my Instagram. That could be it. And this is faceless content. So what's the moral of the story here? If you have a personal brand that is a face type brand and you are using it, and you have a lot of fans on Instagram, but you don't have on YouTube, and you're not sure if it's a smart idea, the answer is yes, it's a good idea, and it won't hurt your algorithm, views, or organic growth, or anything like that. However, if you do not have a personal brand, okay, where you're not showing your face, then the answer is no. Then don't do it. You could promote your Instagram on YouTube, but do not promote your YouTube on Instagram. And what I mean by that is driving traffic from Instagram to YouTube. And the reason why is because it makes actually a huge difference from YouTube's standpoint. When you have an Instagram account, I'll just write IG here, and you send traffic from IG to YouTube, what happens? YouTube looks at all these people who are watching your videos, and they probably have an identity for them already. So that character, that person that watches your YouTube video, who comes over from IG to YouTube and watches your YouTube video, they know this person already. This person has probably used YouTube before in their life. They already know this person's identity. They know what kind of videos he watches. So let's say, for example, he likes your Instagram content, but he doesn't usually watch that type of content on YouTube. Well, then what you're doing is you're mixing niches. YouTube looks at your channel. Let's say you normally post fitness content on Instagram, and then you post a prank video on YouTube, right? I'm going to write this down. Let's say you do fitness content on Instagram, and then you post a prank video on YouTube, okay? Let's say you send 10,000 people over from Instagram to YouTube, right? Because you have, let's say, 200K followers, and 10,000 people click that link and go watch the video. Well, these 10,000 people don't necessarily have the identity that watch prank-type videos on YouTube. So what happens is you have a bunch of people who are used to maybe watching documentaries, comedy, educational videos, how to make money videos, and they're into fitness, but then you send them to a prank video. Well, YouTube looks at them and says, okay, they're into XYZ niche, but we never known them to like prank videos before. So now what happens is YouTube starts to look at your channel, and they don't label it as a prank video anymore. They look at it as a niche that's somewhere in this XYZ niche, right? It could be fitness, it could be whatever. And they start to take your video and they start to put it in front of people who watch this XYZ niche the same way that this person watches that niche. And then what happens is you'll notice over time is your organic growth will decrease. So that's exactly why you wouldn't want to use Instagram to your YouTube. You wouldn't want to do that. This is a perfect circumstance where that would not ideally happen because you're confusing YouTube on the type of identity of what your viewer watches. But once again, if you have a personal brand, which is the face behind the brand, then YouTube understands, okay, there's a face behind this brand, and your viewer, your YouTube, right, is going to look at your viewer and kind of understand that, okay, all these people have certain things in common. It could be a certain niche, and that niche has to do with personal identities. The reality, if somebody watches Alex Eubank, they probably watch Greg Doucette. They probably watch, other fitness YouTubers like Christian Guzman, Togi, all these kind of other fitness type YouTubers, right? So then YouTube understands, okay, this guy makes sense, we understand. And what you do is you get roped into a category of similar niches. What you don't want is you don't want to essentially promote your video to an audience that is not interested in your videos long term. And that's essentially what you're doing if you don't have a personal brand, if you don't have a face behind your brand and you're promoting it. Because what happens is on Instagram, it tends to be extremely difficult to build a real hardcore audience about your content, right? On Instagram, if you don't have a face attached to it. And don't get me wrong, you can build a very large following on Instagram without a face, but they're not as necessarily as hardcore as with a face. For example, let's go to Instagram and type in Millionaire Mentor, okay? Millionaire Mentor, okay? This guy has 10.3 million followers. But you look at his likes, look at his engagement, he gets 2,000 likes a post, 1,200 likes. Why is that? There's no real consistent face behind this. This is just like a marketing magazine, effectively, right? It's got 10 million followers. How did it get to 10 million? Well, what happens is over time, post by post by post gets seen by different people, and they follow the guy and they want to see more content, but they're not hardcore about it. They don't have... The branding doesn't help them memorize who that person is. Now, Millionaire Mentor is actually in a situation better than most people without a faceless brand because he has this logo, and this logo is iconic. It's been around forever. It's been around like even since I started making money online, which was like 8 years ago. But the point is that, faceless type brands that don't have an identity behind them really do suffer when it comes down to branding. And you don't want to send that traffic over to your YouTube because YouTube is going to get confused. They're not going to be sure who to target. Okay, it's very important. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this video helps and makes sense. If you have questions, leave them in the comments down below. I'll talk to you soon. Peace out. Bye.